Steve, welcome to Chamber Chat. It's an honor to have you here, my friend.
Thank you very much, Trent. Thanks for having me.
I love the fact that you got the same hair color as us. We should make sure that people don't adjust their sets, right?
No, there's nothing to check here. The color is correct.
Hey, we've known each other for a long time, and I appreciate your friendship. But let's talk about the organization you represent. Maybe explain that to the folks.
Sure. Steve Compton, CEO at the YMCA of Regina, and a lot of people would connect the Y for childcare, gyms, swim lessons. But in the last couple of years, we've also taken on some services in Moose Jaw with some changes there. So it's Regina and Moose Jaw now.
Right. Oh, good.
And it's a growing concern these days.
So do you spend a lot of time in Moose Jaw yourself?
We do. In 2019, we assumed operations of childcare down there, and the community programs, mentoring, school adherence, a whole bunch of different things. So that's part of it. So the YMCA of Regina doesn't necessarily tell that story. So we always like to share that it's also Regina and the communities of Moose Jaw.
How long has YMCA been in Regina? Can you tell us about the history?
Since 1907. So
1907.
Yeah, I don't want to go on the record to say I'm 100% sure, but I think that we'd be one of the longest standing charities in the city.
No doubt.
As well too.
Yeah.
Across Canada as well.
So what are the main? You've been in the CEO role for how long now?
Just about 6 years.
6 years. And what are your main goals been at this point?
Well, really, what I think our goals got interrupted in 2020, like
no
a lot
doubt,
of folks. But what it's been is continuing with the tradition of fitness facilities, swim lessons, water safety, all the different pieces. But really, it's as a charity in the community. We want we like to remind people about that. It's helping young people be their very best in youth development, mentoring, a lot of different programs. And of course, we're the biggest childcare operator in the city and the province. And the YMCA collectively across Canada is actually the largest supplier of childcare.
That is so interesting. Even I swear I didn't know that either. So that's but funding is an important mechanism of your work, right?
It absolutely is. Childcare is a program in partnership with the provincial government around that piece from the grant piece. But the charitable programs that serve youth, they help children and families have a low cost or no cost membership at the Y. It could be mentoring, it could be mental health supports. All those are supported through grants and donations.
Right.
So that's something that I just want to continue to remind the community that we still need their help.
Yeah.
And we're much more than childcare or just a gym.
Absolutely. But even in your time as CEO, you've had to make some tough decisions to make the YMCA correct in terms of its business model. I'm sorry to bring that up, but can we talk a little bit about that?
We absolutely can. Yeah. When I came to the Y in 2018, I think about the last thing I thought we'd be doing is closing any facilities at the time. And we were working through some challenges organizationally, and we made some corrections, a new strategic plan, budgeting, all those good things. And then March 2020 happened, and everything got thrown sideways.
Right.
What we really noticed when we had to make the difficult decision to close a couple of facilities, notably the downtown, was that people just didn't return to downtown immediately, and it was at the time that the community gyms reopened, vaccines weren't as common at that point. There's a lot of different things, so there was a very, very different dynamic where people weren't downtown at the workplace, where they're coming in for that workout in the morning or at lunch.
Right.
At the end of the day, people were dispersed. And with the endurance of COVID lasting as long as it did with the pandemic, those changes, unfortunately, we had to make some tough decisions.
Right.
And with an older facility, we made the choice to double down on our Northwest facility and unfortunately close downtown.
Right.
And our East facility was a lease facility, which we let that lease expire. And we didn't come back to it.
Right. So you're happy with the direction at this point, even though those are tough decisions to make.
Oh, I don't have to go too far in the community to find someone that disagrees with that choice. And I respect that. It was as much as it was people came there to work out and do different things. They came there because they had friendships and sense of community, and so we really disrupted that. So I don't ever want to make light of it. But it was necessary because for the organization to continue, we had to make a couple of tough choices and make a choice on which facility we had the ability and the confidence would rebound quicker.
Yeah.
And with our Northwest being 50% youth membership, and people returning there, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, the choice worked out.
Okay, good. And you mentioned community, and certainly I would argue that the YMCA is part of the social fabric of our community, now Moose Jaws. You've always been a community guy. Tell us a little bit about that, because your background is actually quite impressive in terms of community.
I don't know how impressive, but yeah, I fell into nonprofits somewhat accidentally. I was in the food distribution business,
Which is when we met. Yeah.
When we met,
Yeah.
when we were at the Riders,
Yeah.
and we were, I was following along in my career in that industry and became exposed to the work that the Regina Food Bank was doing at the time. And when Ed Blues, who was the founder of that, his health wouldn't allow him to continue, Wayne Helquist stepped in.
Right.
And I knew Wayne, and Wayne asked me, he said, have you ever thought of working in the nonprofit and charity sector? And the more I learned, the more I thought this sounds like a great opportunity. We had young kids at the time,
Yeah.
aging parents. Regina's our home all
Right.
the way along. And took a bold step forward and never looked back. So I was at the Regina Food Bank for 13 years,
Yeah.
and just before coming to the Y.
And the movement to the Y was based on the fact that you were challenging yourself, or I'm assuming. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was approached when the opportunity came available, and I still very much enjoyed my role at the food bank.
Right.
I think what appealed to me about the YMCA is that you're working on some of the upstream problems. You're helping people before their needs intervention with services,
Yeah.
Charitable services like the food bank or shelter services, that we're hopefully a preventative measure.
Yeah.
We're building opportunities for people and putting them in the best position to succeed. So that was kind of enticing, and never looked back. And here we are 6 years later.
Good for you. You have a unique relationship with the Regina and District Chamber of Commerce because of your relationship with our past CEO, John Hopkins. Can you maybe take us through that, and then all the work that you and your friends did to raise money for some awareness, etc.?
Yeah, that was a pretty extraordinary thing.
Yeah.
So my first meeting with John was the civic election when the voting machines failed that evening, and I was there with John and Paul Martin.
Right.
We were doing commentary with Access, and we were left to embellish, let's put it that way, because until the voting machines came back on. And John and I just got talking and found out we had a lot in common, and we became friends and professional colleagues as well. And then he phoned me at one point after his cancer diagnosis, and he said, hey, we've got a bunch of guys in the garage, and
Yeah.
you should come out just for the day. And I should have known
right?
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I should have known better that it would never be just for a day. And
Yeah.
we got in there, and that was the impetus of the garage band. And
Yeah.
with Murad El-Khatib, Frank Hart, at that time Dave Malloy, now
Yeah.
Brad Vance, and Michael Fager, and
Yeah.
myself, and of course John leading the front. The garage band raised over $1.5 million for different charities.
Wow.
I think the notable thing was the 4D scanner, because John's journey with cancer
Yeah.
was very close, very real.
Right.
And when we had the chance to tour, that scanner and the simulator was put in place, that was pretty special.
God, that's got to make you feel good that you actually went through that. And I mean, even though we did eventually lose John, there's a bit of a legacy for him, and certainly the garage band. Are you still together, or
We are. We're
Yeah?
back.
So
We're
tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, we have an event on May 24th and at
okay.
the Connexus Arts Center.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is raising money for mental health programming for youth.
Yeah.
And our mentorship program is assisted membership. And the garage band is back, minus John, of course. He'll always be
Yeah.
missed. But we wanted to continue, raising funds for organization in the community. And when we came back online, Murad and some of the folks said, hey, let's do something for the Y. And away we go.
What's so interesting about the garage band is you got some incredible leaders as part, including yourself as part of that, but including former Mayor Michael Fougere, who plays the drums very well, actually. And so it's a good crew, isn't it?
It is. It's some older, well-tenured gentlemen living out their rock and roll dream, as the gray gives away. But it's, I really enjoy it. And I took a little break after John's passing.
Right.
Those kind of things, but there was still the fire there with everybody, and away we go, and glad to be back.
Great. So you mentioned family, moving back to Regina when the food bank opportunity came up. Tell us a little bit about your family.
2 twin daughters,
Yeah.
23 years old now, but at that time they were young kids, and my wife was home with the 2 kids and had a career at SaskTel, and kind of thought that maybe she wanted to, be at home with children, and we had parents aging, and I traveled a lot with work. I'm Regina born and raised.
Right.
But, traveled a lot with work and had opportunities to be in other places, but this is home.
Yes.
And I always felt that there's a great career here. Nonprofit was different at that time, but now all the business principles apply, all those things. So you get to use your skills from other areas and work in a different outcome. If
Right.
you will. It's not a profit as such, but it's a contribution to the community.
And the girls done university, or did they go to school? I'm sure.
Yeah, my one daughter is finishing up a psychology degree currently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be able to read Dad.
There you go. Yeah, get some help at home. And my other daughter went to Cordon Bleu culinary school and is a pastry chef now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so they're doing well, and we're happy Regina residents, like the community, and never regretted staying put.
I want to rewind back to the why, if I can, the YMCA. Let's talk about the largeness of the organization as a not-for-profit. How many staff and how many people does it take to run all the programs?
375 staff.
Good Lord, yeah.
And about, I would say, roughly half and half full-time and part-time.
Right.
So it'll be lifeguards, people at the fitness facility, and a significant amount of people working in childcare, early childhood educators now.
Right.
We manage, we operate 754 licensed childcare spaces in Regina and Moose Jaw.
754?
12 centers.
Wow.
12 childcare centers across the two communities.
Right.
And our community programming as well too, and before and after school programs. So there's around 1,000 children in before and after school or early learning centers. So yeah, it's a busy place. It's never dull.
So I'm probably using the wrong terminology because I'm sure you use different terminology. I'm not familiar with vernacular, but it's your target audience, like for the before and after school. How do you reach out to those people? How do you communicate to them?
It can be through parent groups. We certainly communicate with the schools and ask for their support, which has been challenging with the current disruptions in the school system. But communicating prior to the end of the year, throughout the year, about the programs that are available, whether it's day camps, before and after school programming, or you might be expecting another child and get on that hefty wait list.
Get on the list
for childcare.
How long is the list right now, Steve?
It's over 2,000 deep at our location, and we're optimistic though. We recently, in partnership with Sherwood Co-op, opened up a new center at the previous location of the 25th and Albert Co-op store.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
We moved our downtown childcare there after the sale of that property and opened up 80 new spaces additionally in that center as well, and our admin team and some of our community programs delivered from there. So I think there's a significant opportunity to partner with the provincial government and the business community to build out more spaces. I know that's a government goal that I think we're well aligned with, and we're certainly exploring that actively.
So a partnership like with the Sherwood Co-op, which is a great organization in our community, you probably led the charge from the YMCA part on that, I would guess.
Yeah, I had a very strong connection from my food bank days, in particular with Troy Verboom, the general manager.
We know.
Sherwood Co-op, and he had asked over a cup of coffee. He said, if you sell your property, where are you going to relocate your childcare? And a lot of things were in the air at that time. And I said, I'm not 100% sure. We were looking and trying to find suitable spaces. And he says, well, what do you think about the idea of a remodeled grocery store being a childcare center? And
interesting.
That's not something I necessarily thought of. And the size of the space was certainly bigger than the previous downtown piece, so it allowed us to expand our childcare offering and move our admin team, which I'm not 100% sure where we'd have landed coming out of the COVID piece. We were looking at redistributing the facilities, but it gave us a chance to put the team back together, a community gathering space, and expand the childcare spaces into the city as well.
The timing couldn't have been better.
Not a whole bunch. No.
Yeah.
The moving and building piece is a interesting phase. It's obviously very active.
Right.
When you've been in some place since the 1950s, you tend to accumulate a few things. as well too.
You had to purge then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was, and move things over, but
Right.
it's nice to see that facility is being revitalized as a health center.
Yes.
It's been able to provide support for the warming center, so it ended up in good hands.
It's interesting how Sherwood Co-op kind of came at the right time, as we've indicated, but they filled that void for you. Is there other voids that you can see that you're working on as CEO?
Yeah, there's certainly, there's a lot of political discussion around the $10 a day childcare and those types of
Right.
things. But at the end of the day, affordable, available childcare is a priority that we'll be pursuing.
Right.
Also, it would be, recreational facilities, and a lot of YMCA's across Canada, and particularly in the Western Canada, have partnered with municipal and provincial builds. So if
Right.
a new joint use high school is being developed or a community facility, the Y, in many of those cases, comes in as the operator.
Interesting.
In Calgary, for example, it's the largest YMCA in the world, but it's a civic provincial partnership.
Right. So that doesn't exist in this province yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay. You're working on that?
Well, it's on the bucket list.
Yeah.
And we know that when we closed the centers of community in downtown and the East End facility, that really changed things for people. So we'd like to get back in the neighborhoods where we're needed, and over time, I think we'll be able to accomplish that.
So you've identified those neighborhoods and you're working towards that.
Yeah. We certainly get a lot of inquiries about that, and we also get a lot of inquiries about expanding childcare from people that might want to partner as well too.
Right.
So we've got some active discussions going on there, and we're looking at the opportunities, and it's a capital intensive thing actually.
Yeah.
To build out new centers, and the inflation and some of the challenges of the last few years we were able to overcome because of the type of partnerships like Sherwood Co-op.
Right.
That put us in a position to be able to take advantage of the opportunity.
Which brings us to the importance of being recognized as a charity, which you are, and the fundraising.
Yeah, and all the youth programming, the Y has historically been known. I think one of the very best things about the Y, past and current, is the opportunity to serve youth that are incurring challenges, that
Right.
be disadvantaged and not fully able to participate. The Y has always been there. 15% of the members of our 4,500 members at our Northwest facility are there on an assisted basis.
Interesting.
The
Yeah.
families, and they could be newcomers, they could be children that would otherwise not be able to participate. There's a lot of really good work that goes on. I think we need to get that story out
Right.
better, and that's where fundraising actually comes in. And we have mentoring programs, school adherence. We did something in this past 2 years called Y-Mind, which is
Okay.
a mental health program for children with anxiety and mild anxiety and depression.
Right.
We're able to help a lot of people, and to advance that type of work outside of childcare fees and gym memberships, which are critically important, but it's really the charitable generosity of the community that makes those work.
Did Y-Mind, is that a Saskatchewan
It was
thought process?
originally started in YMCA BC.
Okay.
And then there was a national pilot that we were able to take part in through Public Health Action Canada, and now we're looking to sustain that program as that national agreement sunsets.
Yeah.
We're looking to carry that program forward in the community.
And it's a brilliant program, obviously, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really helps people, young people, have a non-judgmental ear to listen to. It's
Yes.
not in a clinical environment. It's no fee to attend.
Oh, wow.
It's supported by social work professionals and counseling professionals, and there's an opportunity to become part of the group when you're doing that as well too.
Sure.
So thrive, helping young people thrive and be fully connected and engaged in the community.
It's a great word, thrive, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's where we're headed.
Well done. Your organization is part of the Regina and District Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure you're part of the Moose Jaw Chamber of Commerce as well. And tell me the importance of belonging to organizations like that.
Yeah, coming from a business background in the consumer foods industry and food distribution, became very aware of the generosity of the business community once you step into charity. And then I found over the years that those partnerships, whoever it might be in the community, Sherwood Co-op, but over the years, the Mosaic Company,
Yeah.
Nutrien,
Exactly.
Farm Credit, and so many others that I'm going to miss here, GMS, groups like that,
Yeah.
that have philanthropy as part of their DNA, is critical to organizations like ours being successful.
Right.
And then there's some pretty humble organizations out there that they don't make a big fuss about it when they do make those contributions, but I think it's good for the community to know that connectivity in the business community, because the business community is people.
Yes. Yes.
And these are generous people that help other people in the community that sometimes need a hand.
And often is the case, and since the pandemic, I mean, maybe they don't consider the YMCA, and your job is to get the word out there, which is part and parcel while we're here today, right?
Yeah, the pandemic, you know, I said to a lot of people, it's easy to blame some of the challenges we had on the pandemic. I think it just drew focus to certain things, and it endured a long time.
Yes.
You know, the changes to the community were profound, and talked to a lot of people that they lost a sense of connection. So when you think of belonging to the chamber, interacting with your colleagues and your friends in the community, I think it's critically important, because otherwise, you know, you're on a Zoom screen, and there's great benefits to all the tech.
Yeah.
But on the same hand, there's nothing like having a conversation we're having here.
Like we're having here. So we've actually chewed up 20 minutes, believe it or not, Steve, and it's been a great conversation. Perhaps we can end with you letting the folks know the best way of contacting the YMCA, and or even can they walk right into your facility? Your one on sorry, that's Albert and Parliament? No.
Albert and 25th.
25th, right.
Or our Northwest facility on Rochdale.
Right.
And absolutely, or check us out on the website, give us a call. You know, glad to talk and tell you what we're doing, maybe show you what we're doing, and just if there's an opportunity to either support or to partner up to do a little more.
Well, let me say this at the very end here, that our community is better because of organizations that you represent, and quite frankly, because of people like you. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. All the best.
Chamber Chats is produced bi-weekly by Skycron as a service to the Regina business community. We produce many series, including the television series Go Nitro for NBC Sports, CBS, and Fox, as well as corporate videos, events, and live streams, all right here in Saskatchewan. We can do the same for you. If you have a video project for your organization, call us at 306-720-0097, and let's get started on your next project.